Hi everyone. Good evening to all of you. Please do tell me where you're from and your names, your professions. Good evening. Hello. So I'm Sanya. I'm from Khaira Education, and I have been training students for OET for more than 3 years now. Very happy to see you all here today. Yes, please do tell me where you're from. Okay, so I hear some of you wishing me good evening to all of you. Okay, so I see someone from Dubai. Others also, please do tell me where you're from. It's lovely to hear from everyone, from where you're joining. And also, I would like to know your profession. So, are you a nurse? Are you a physician? Are you a pharmacist, dietitian, physiotherapist? So, I would like to hear all about it. Okay, so from Colombia, hi, Andrea. Good evening from Tamil Nadu. Yes, one of my favorite places. Zambia. That's great. Registered midwife. Okay. Nurse. Mhm. Okay, so we have students from Italy as well. Zambia. Yes, we have many students from Zambia and Zimbabwe. So I can see some of those students joining as well. Very good evening again to all of you. UAE, that's great to know. So once again, I'm Sanya from Care Education, and today I would be taking your class for the reading module, particularly Part C of reading. Uh, so just to tell you a little bit about Care Education, so we offer training for OET for all professions, and all our classes are online as well as offline. Currently, we are in 3 centers, Mohali, Delhi, and Amritsar, but all of our classes are available for online students as well. In fact, we have students joining from every corner of the world. So if you want to become part of our big family, you are most welcome. You can note the details down as it might be appearing to you right now. You can take a screenshot and contact us later. So we also have packages for mock tests if you ever want to enroll for that. So that's also possible. Okay. Right. So I'm getting more comments from the students. Okay. A lot of students joining from Zambia. That's great. From UK as well. Wonderful. Please do keep telling me your professions as well. It's always great to hear from all of you. Botswana, yes, many of our students are from there as well. Wonderful. Sri Lanka, that's nice. Nepal, yeah, all the neighbors coming in from India. Malaysia, okay, that's great. Yes, so one of the students has asked me today what will we discuss. So I think with that we can begin the class, of course. So the topic for today is reading Part C. So a simple question for all of you. Do you find reading Part C difficult? Yes, no, maybe. There are a variety of answers that you can give. I'm getting a lot of yeses. Yeah, I think that seems to be the common opinion. So then my question to you is why? What is it in reading Part C that you particularly face difficulty in? I would like to hear from you. Okay, so Maya says not that much, but sometimes. Um, Sharon says that it's very difficult. Go itself says it's difficult. Sandra Selva also says difficult. And Abu Bakr, I think you're a beginner. So I think you've joined at the right time because we are going to cover some of the basic and most important parts of it. Okay, so Albertina says that the paragraphs sometimes are too long. So yes, I understand it might be difficult to understand the meaning of its entirety. So time management, okay, that's a good one. Understanding the meaning, Nilani says, and time management. Two options are similar. It's difficult to choose the right one. Confusion between two options, right? Oh, Sharvi, yes, you are the old student. I do remember. Difficulty in elimination. How to, Sandra says, how to come up with the correct answer. Writer's opinion. Time management, I'm hearing a lot. And how do you get away with word matching, Edward? So actually, understanding and then time is short. Right. So all the things that you've just told me, particularly about how to eliminate the answer options and the time management aspect of it. So they all go hand in hand if you think about it. So if you're able to understand the paragraph very quickly and clearly, that will lead to early elimination because you should be able to then match the key ideas of the paragraph to one of the answer options. So today's class is supposed to help you in exactly the things that you mentioned. Some of the students are also mentioning that understanding the text is difficult, and also that writer's opinion, identifying that is a little difficult. So that is precisely what we are discussing today, identifying the writer's attitude as well as opinion in reading part C. So as you know that in reading part C, the texts are opinionated. So the opinions that are mentioned could be writer's own opinion, or it could be the opinion of someone else who has also done research related to the same topic that the writer is talking about. Sometimes the writer even quotes another person who has done the same research. So I think that is something you already know, that opinions are mentioned. But even these opinions are of two types. So we'll try to understand what those two types of opinions might be. Now, here is a question again for all of you. There are two sentences written over here, and I want all of you to give it a read and tell me what is the difference between these two sentences. So please take a minute and try to figure it out. And you can keep typing in the difference if you found it. So in your own words, you can write whatever you feel is different. Okay, so Sharon says no evidence and inadequate evidence. Mohammed Shahjahan, you have noticed that it's the same meaning. You're absolutely right, actually. It conveys the same meaning. So what is different here? One is indicative of a topic, no, inadequate, limited. Yes, you are very close in understanding the difference. So in one of them, it's written no scientific evidence. In the other, it's written inadequate, limited. But the meaning is the same. Okay, let's look at one more example and then we'll try to understand what the basic difference is. Let's look at one more sentence. So two sentences here, the same activity. Try to understand what is the difference between these two sentences. Same meaning but phrased in a different way. Very good, Edward. And Naseem, you very correctly phrased that in the first sentence, denying evidences, and in the next one, it has like somehow some evidences there. Okay, Monica says no benefit versus few benefits. Sharon again says it's the same meaning. You're right again. Means the same, yes. So what is the difference then? All of you are telling me similarities. No benefits and few benefits. Right. So in the first column, what we actually see are opinions directly stated, or what we call explicit opinions. However, in the second column, we have opinions that are indirectly stated, or what we call implicit opinions. So these are the basic differences between both these set of sentences. Now, this is the reason why you find Part C a little difficult, because it's a combination of both of these. Sometimes you will have opinions very directly stated when it's a little easier to answer the questions. But most of the times, the opinions are indirectly stated. And, we have to read between the lines and we have to try and understand what exactly is the writer trying to say. So all of you who said that Part C is a little difficult, here you have it. This is why it is difficult, because they are indirectly stated. So for example, if we look at the first sentence, here it says there's no scientific evidence. However, another way it could be written as well, there's inadequate and limited evidence. So not exactly saying what they want to, but in a very diplomatic manner. And I saw somebody use tentative language, very good. Tentative language, or in a diplomatic manner, when you try to express opinion, that is basically indirectly telling your opinion. And that is what attitude actually refers to. When do we have to analyze the attitude? When opinions are not directly stated. Okay, so we need to remember this, especially when we are choosing our answer options. It is not as easy as just matching one word or the other and then figuring out the answer. So in today's class, we are going to focus on how to answer the questions in which they ask us to identify the writer's attitude or opinion. So many of you might be familiar with this strategy and many of you might not be. So it's called QTA. So QTA strategy means that first, you should always read the question, then the text, which means the paragraph, and then the answer options. I know many of you might already be doing that, but it is absolutely essential that for reading Part C, we follow this, because there are 4 answer options. And if we read the answer options first, we tend to be biased towards an answer option that, okay, this one looks right to me, so I'm going to choose that one. So no, it's never a good strategy to look at the answer options first, particularly for reading Part C. So follow this by heart for all the questions of reading Part C. Now, as I said, today we are looking at opinionated questions. So I'm going to actually break it down, because it's not as simple as just, okay, reading the question and paragraph and the answer. How can we read the question? How can we understand the paragraph? And how can we choose the answer options? That we have to look. Okay, some of you are saying that the screen might not be properly visible. I'm going to share it again. Just a second. Okay, yeah. Can you confirm if you can see it properly now? Yeah, is it all right now? Okay, thank you. Right. So yeah, it's just this, there's no extra text right now. So that's why. And please do keep checking your network connections as well. Okay, so let's start with the first part of it, which is the question. So how can we properly understand the question? Because usually what happens is, one of the mistakes that students make is that very quickly they read the question and go to the paragraph and try to read it. Please take at least a few seconds to understand what the question is asking you to find. So focus on understanding the question properly. And so I will give you some examples and then we will try to see what this means. So let's look at this question. This is an example. What warning is the writer giving in the first paragraph? Right. Now, in this question, what do you all think should be our focus when we go to the paragraph? So what is the question specifically asking us to find? Veera says warning. Something negative. Okay, just read. Yes. Warning. Yeah, negative thought. Exactly. Warning. Yes. Right. And I'm happy that some of you also said negative. So, yes, it has a negative connotation. We can already sense that. So, you see, it's very important to understand what the tone would be of the thing that we have to find in the paragraph. So, yes, you're right. It's like a alertness. Yes, something negative, Malka. You're absolutely right. Warning of the writer. Some negative implications, I would say. Yes. Naseem says writer will give a warning or precautions. Alarming, yes, exactly. So imagine like if we are able to understand that and then we go to the paragraph, so we would of course be reading the whole paragraph, but particularly in the bits that would be talking about something to do with the warning. Let's look at one more example of the question, and again you're going to tell me what is it that we have to find in this question. So here's the question. What does the writer find encouraging about the findings of the South Wales study? So tell me, what do you think we have to find in the paragraph? Okay, Malika says something positive. Surprising, Samreen. Okay. Boosting up. Yeah, could be. Because encouraging, you're right. It's good that you're using some paraphrases. Something positive, Sakshi says about the findings of the study. Positive thoughts. Yes, exactly. Encouraging findings from the study. Yes, Brian. Era says something interesting that the writer finds. Absolutely, it could be because it's the writer's own opinion after all. Beneficial points. Yes, you're right. So, in that case, when we go to the paragraph, then we would go with the opinion that we are going to look at something positive. Let's look at another question and tell me what are we finding in the third question now. So it says, what concern does the writer express in the second paragraph? So concern, yes. Worry, a cause of worry, yes. Worries or negative thoughts, yes, that's right. What concern does the writer express? So yes, something of sort of a worry. So a lot of you are saying that the screen is not visible. I would like you to go on the landscape mode because I am operating from a laptop itself. So maybe because of that, it might not be properly visible. So if you could go on the landscape mode, I think that would help. Otherwise, I'm trying to make some changes so that it's visible to you more. Um, yeah. Okay, right. So some negative statements we might have to look at for this. You're absolutely right. So let's try to answer a question based on this. So here the question says, what warning is the writer giving in this paragraph? So as all of you said that we'll have to look at some negative thoughts of sorts. So now I am going to show you the paragraph. Please read the paragraph with this thing in mind, that it is a warning that I have to locate. And please focus on reading the whole paragraph and then understanding overall what is the warning. Okay, so we are just reading the paragraph right now. So All right. So now, if you have figured out some of the warnings that might be evident to you in this, yes. So do tell me. Maybe you can indicate. Maybe it's the fourth line or the fifth line, something like that. Or like I think Muhammad has already written overwhelming attention, something like that. So what gives us a hint of a warning in this particular paragraph? Tell me. Yeah, Rita also says the overwhelming bit. The last line, okay. Mandeep says dangerous. So research community must consider the question of the tools pivotal to this research, and then the use of germ-free laboratory mice truly reflect the reality, um, real-world diversity of human microbiome, and also varying and imprecise results. Yes, evaluate conclusion as well. Yes, you're right. So research is dangerous for individuals who might make ill-informed decisions, and for scientific enterprise, which needs to develop better methods. So we can say that somehow the studies that are being done right now might not be as good. Okay, so you have identified some of the things and I've tried underlining them. Now let's see if we can match that to one of the answer options. So we are putting in practice the QTA. Now there you have it, the answer options on the screen. So now I would like for you to take a minute more and try to narrow down the answer. Okay, a lot of you are saying D. So that also has to do with results. A certain screening tests produce results which are unreliable and not helpful for humans. Sumaya, Malka, Monica also says D. Okay, apparently all of you agree. And yes, that is the right answer. Because everything in the text is indicating that test results are not reliable. Because as it was written over here, varying and imprecise results can come from such an analysis. And they might not consider the real world diversity of the human microbiome. Absolutely correct. Right. So let's look at one more question. So if you remember, this was also another question that you all had looked at. What concern does the writer express? So now again, I would first like you to look at the paragraph. Remember the negative connotation of concern and then try to identify where do we see something regarding a concern mentioned in the paragraph. Okay, Sharon has written empathy. Compassion, empathy. Okay, that could be a concern. You could also indicate which line mentions it. Okay, Vishali says feeling sympathy can overwhelm us with sorrow. Last line, Alexia says. Yes, last sentence. So feeling sympathy for another person can overwhelm us with sorrow and often preclude us from helping. That's right. Yes, empathy, sympathy, confusion. Okay, Brian. Yes, empathy is different to sympathy, which is described as feeling sorrow for another person. This does not require us to understand another person's point of view, but is an emotional response. Okay, and a lot of you are again going back to the fact that it can be overwhelming. All right, so I think most of you have identified the lines. Now let's look at the answer options, and you can tell me which one do you think is the right answer. Okay, a lot of you are saying B and D. Okay, B. Mhm. So now to to finalize your answer, uh, focus back on the question. Question was saying what concern does the writer express in the second paragraph? So I can see that most of you are answering either B or D. So B option says sympathy can impede on professionalism in a clinical setting. Okay. And D option says that empathy and sympathy are often confused by health professionals. This answer option means that it's the health professionals who are confused about it, and that's a concern. Well, so actually B is the right answer. I think a lot of you were saying that. So the last lines, they do tell us that feeling sympathy for another person can overwhelm us referring to the healthcare professionals with sorrow, preclude us from helping. So if doctors are not able to help, that means that it is impeding, it is stopping you. So it's impeding on professionalism in a clinical setting. So if doctors are not able to help, that means that it's precluding them, so it's impeding on professionalism. It's not D because even if they don't understand the difference, that's not the concern. The concern is mentioned in the last two lines. And A, that it's not fully understood, again, that's not the concern. Same for C. So they're not talking about equal display of empathy and sympathy. So that will not be the right answer. So this is how we can exercise QTA in the exam itself. So what you have done over here, so while you were telling me the keywords or the lines, you were trying to frame an answer in your own mind. So it's a good idea to try to do that. So once before you go to the answer options, quickly try to understand in my own words, what is the concern here? Because many of you in fact wrote the same paraphrase of the answer option. So that's good. So this is what we discussed about the question. So now let's come to the next part, which was the T, which is the text. Right. So when we are focusing on the text, when we are looking at the paragraph, so we have to remember that some questions require us to demonstrate our understanding of the writer's argument, the line of argument that the writer is trying to show us, and the opinion as well. So what do we have to remember when we do that? So you can only understand the writer's opinion and line of argument by focusing on the overall meaning of what they are communicating. So we also have to develop a sense of that in this paragraph, what is important and what is just mentioned as a minor detail. Because many times what happened is that the facts and details that are written in the paragraph, so they may provide evidence for opinion, but that is not our main priority. So you might have noticed that many times in a paragraph, there are some studies mentioned, there are some examples that are mentioned. But please remember that those examples or studies are also mentioned ultimately to support a main argument that the writer is trying to make. Yeah, I noticed there was a glitch in the screen. I have fixed it now. I'm not using a mobile phone. It's a laptop only. Right. So now we will see how there are some questions that are framed around the fact that why is a study or an example mentioned by the writer. So this is a mistake that students make a lot, that if suppose there's a question that why is this study mentioned, so they only look at the study that's mentioned in the paragraph. They don't focus on other things. But no, Actually, the main hint for the answer lies just before or after the example is given, because that tells us under which context the example is given. So let's look at a question regarding that. So here it says, in the first paragraph, the writer uses the example of a diagnosis of sepsis to demonstrate. So can you try quickly paraphrasing this question in your own words? Can you tell me what exactly is the question asking us to find? Yeah, Monica says to show something. Yes, that's the meaning of demonstrate. Yes. An illustration. Yeah. So what does the example show? Yes, exactly. So here they're asking basically, why did the writer use this example? So we cannot just limit, our reading of the text only to the example that has been shared, or to show, to explain. Yes, you're right. So now let's look at the paragraph as well as the question, and later I'm going to display the answer option. So now, when you're reading the paragraph, don't just look at the example, but look at the main argument which is being supported by the example. So please read the whole paragraph and then try to frame it in your mind. Why exactly has this example been given? Okay, I think a lot of you are saying that the slides, there's a problem. So just let me try one thing again. I'm going to. Uh, yeah, I'm just trying to share the whole screen now. Is this better? If you can tell me. So I will try to zoom in a little bit more now. Can you tell me that if it's better visible now? Fine now? Okay. Yes, all right. Great, done. Yeah, I will keep it like this then. Thank you for confirming. So I'll just zoom in a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. Right. So now I would like to display the answer options as well. And so based on your understanding, you have to choose the right answer now. Please go ahead. So you can choose the right answer and write it in the chat now. A second, I will now change it. Yeah, now I think it should be better for everyone. Okay, so a lot of you had chosen A as the answer. So yes, that is the right one. So importance of individuals understanding the role of the whole team. So that is the right answer, because here if we see the example is given over here, that for example, if a highly skilled nurse makes a diagnosis of sepsis but fails to escalate the case, the patient is put at risk. So that example is given, but right before the example, we actually see what the writer has written, that oversights can occur when staff have different perception of how the team is functioning and situations are developing. So this is the context in which the example is given, that if a highly skilled nurse makes the diagnosis but fails to escalate it in time, the patient is put at risk. So yes, that would be the right answer, because A is also talking about importance of individuals understanding the role of the whole team. I have tried another way to zoom in, so I hope it's better for everyone. Yeah. Okay. So yes, A would be the right answer for this question. Let's try to look at another example of this. So here, sometimes it does happen that whenever a writer is citing several studies, so again, we have to focus on what is the main idea that they're trying to develop through showing the studies. So now you have a complete question written over here. So please take 2 minutes and try to find the answer. Please try to put your phone in a landscape mode as I was suggesting, because this I'm sharing the whole screen, but for some students it's visible, for some it's not. Mm. Okay, so a lot of you are giving the answer as A. Mhm. Okay, so let's look at the answer options over here. So the A option is saying the quality of a person's relationship is integral to their health. So yes, that would be the right answer. If we look at all the studies that are mentioned over here, so the first study is talking about how loneliness is associated with increased incident of coronary heart disease. And then the second study over here is showing that helping others helps older people to adjust to their own decline in function, and then the effect is greater. So in the end, we actually see the writer's opinion about all the examples that are given, that the effect is so great that it is comparable with quitting smoking and exceeds the better publicized risk factors such as obesity and lack of physical exercise. So please always remember, so yes, you're right, A is the right answer. Please always remember that whenever examples are given, so don't just focus on the examples. Somewhere there would be some context given by the writer, that what is the main argument that they're trying to make. So yes, A would be the answer. B, premature death, there was no hint of that. Some diseases are more affected by loneliness than others. We don't have enough evidence of that. Only in some places diseases were given, but no comparison between them. And many contributing factors that lead to poor health is not correct, because here they didn't talk about any other such factors. Right. So for this question, yes, A would be the right answer. So we have looked at the two things, the Q and the T. Now I would like to focus on the answer options. So here, this is different than part A. In part A, we just have to look at the keywords, match the word that is matching the keyword, and that's it. But no, in part C, we have to understand the meaning of each of the answer options. So let's see. Here, there's a question for everyone. And again, I would like for you to paraphrase this question in your own way to tell me what exactly is the question asking us to find. Sometimes there are some questions which would be left incomplete and they have to be completed by an answer option. So it says writer suggests that potential for harm from asbestos is increased by. So what are we trying to find here? So maybe the risk. What are the factors? Yeah, so Nilini, actually you're right. So by what exactly? So potential for harm increased by what? So that is what we have to try and figure out from this. Yes. So now again you have the answer options. So please take about 2 minutes and try solving the question. A lot of you are saying that C could be the possible answer and B. So to finalize your answer, make sure that you're not just matching the keywords. So I'm just going to help you locate the answer. So you can see that I've color coded the answer options with the sentences they correspond to. So if you're choosing B as the answer, that the way it reacts to other substances, that is a potential for harm, look at the corresponding sentence. It says, it does not evaporate, dissolve, burn, or undergo significant reactions with other chemicals. It means it doesn't undergo any reactions. Okay, so the meaning we have to match of what is written in the answer option and what's written in the paragraph. If we look at A, a change in the method, well, yes, there has been a change, but that's not what has caused the harm. A lot of you said C, so keyword widespread. Yes, you're right. The fact that it is used so extensively, so in two places it is mentioned. So you can see the gray portion on the screen, that it has been used in a huge number of products because of its high tensile strength, etc. And then because of the widespread use of asbestos, its fibers are ubiquitous in the environment. So yes, it is used extensively. That is why there is a potential for harm. Right. Then D option, presence in recently constructed buildings. Well, recently constructed buildings don't have that material anymore. That is why it can't be D. So a lot of you have chosen C as the answer. That is absolutely correct. Now, this was just to showcase you that everything, so all the keywords that are mentioned in the options will be mentioned in the paragraph as well. But unless the meaning is matching, we can't choose the answer. And something that will help us narrow down the answer is again going back to the question. So always, rather than being entangled in the answer options, it would be great if you could go back to what the question was asking. The answer that I'm selecting, is it just matching something that's written in the para, or is it actually answering what I wanted for my question? All right, so let's look at one more question. So in this question, in the fourth paragraph, the writer argues that, so here, whenever you get a question like this, that the writer is arguing about something, so it doesn't mean it has a negative connotation. No, argument just means that what is the main argument that the writer is trying to put forth. So in these kind of questions, you have to look at the whole paragraph and then understand what the argument is being there. So let's have a look. So again, you all have about 2 minutes to do this. So when you're looking at the answer options, narrowing it down, please make sure you're matching the meaning. All right, so some answers are coming in. C and B, I see that is the common choice. Okay. Right, so let's have a look. In the option A, it's written Botox interventions are started too early. So started too early would be incorrect because it was written it is only once these therapies, so all the therapies that were mentioned in the first 2-3 lines, they have been exhausted, that a physician should suggest the possibility of trying Botox injections. So not started too early. So B option, it should be the last resort for chronic TMD pain. Yes, that would be the right answer because here it's written once these therapies have been exhausted. Last resort means that it is the last thing that you should be doing with the patient. Now, C option, there is a keyword there that best used in combination. Combination being the keyword with non-invasive measures. Combination means you use that plus this. But here, there was no hint that Botox injections are used along with therapies. So no, only when the therapies have been exhausted, then you choose Botox. That's what it's trying to say. So C, unfortunately, would not be correct. And unpopular with patients, so we don't have patients' opinions mentioned here, so we can't choose that as the answer. Another thing that I would like to bring to your attention in this paragraph is that, so for B, that it should be the last resort for chronic TMD pain. So here, even the last few lines are telling us why it is the last resort, because it is a little harmful, that it's not approved by so Botox is not FDA approved for its use in TMD. That also tells us why it is the last resort, that it's the last option that we should be considering for our patients. So yes, all of you are absolutely correct. B is the right answer for this question. So just a quick recap of what we had discussed. So number one is understanding the question properly. There would be a lot of hints that the question would be giving us, like warning, encouraging, or what concern they are expressing. Why is the writer optimistic? What is the surprise? So please try to find those hints. When you go to the paragraph, you should go to the paragraph with that in mind. Second, when you're reading the text, please focus on the overall meaning. There might be questions which ask you, why is the study mentioned? Why is the example given? Look at the bigger picture. How is that example or study going to help prove the point that the writer is trying to make? And about the answer options, as we just saw in some of the examples, that just reading the keywords and then matching it to something that's mentioned in the text is not going to help. So the key ideas of the answer option should be present in the text. So these are some of the things that I wanted to cover. Now, apart from just remembering these strategies, there are also other ways of improving your reading part C. So these are some of the resources where you can get newsletters or medical articles to read these medical articles every day. Because the thing is that it's not just attempting the papers that will help you identify the writer's opinion better. It is also regular reading of the articles that will help you. And there is a way in which we can do that. So when you're reading medical articles, please try to understand the writer's perspective in them, because sometimes facts and other people's perspectives, so they are reported to support the writer's own opinion, and the focus is on understanding the overall meaning of the text. Second thing that you should be doing for that, so identify the words whose meanings you do not know. So remember, I'm talking about what can help you polish the skills for reading part C. So whenever you read some articles in which you feel like, oh, I don't know the meaning of this word, don't directly go to the dictionary. Try to figure out the meaning of that word from the context. It is the skill of inference that you need to develop. Next, locate the reference words. So specifically these pronouns like it, these, those, them, etc. So in a lot of medical articles, these would be used. So there are some questions, like if you've attempted some reading papers, they say that what is it referring to, or what is these referring to? So it's a good habit to keep, whenever you're reading something, ask yourself, what is this it referring to? What is the pronoun that has just been mentioned? So that's another good way of practicing the skills. And the last one is the gist or main idea. So after you read every paragraph in your own time of these medical articles, you can create a one-liner summary for that paragraph that you read. So basically that is what you were doing right now. When I was asking you the question without showing you the answer options, all of you were trying to give me maybe some phrases or some sentences that tell us the overall idea. So after reading some paragraphs, you can try making a one-liner summary, which contain all the key ideas. So this will help brushen up the habit of choosing the right answer. So, and if you do this, in addition to attempting the test papers, your performance is bound to improve. So if you want, you can take a quick screenshot of this, because this is something that you can remember even when you are practicing in your own time. So yes, that was all from my side. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. So once again, I am Sanya from Khaira Education. It was lovely to have all of you joining and your active responses. I'm sorry for the screen. I tried everything, but I'm not sure what was the problem there. But thank you, everyone. Please do check out the Instagram and Facebook page of Khaira Education. There are numbers over here which you can take a screenshot of and contact us in case you want to join us for training. Thank you once again, everyone. I wish you all the best for your future journey. Thank you.